Good morning. I need to do better with the start of the stream and kind of easing into it, some music or something that makes people happy. Right now it's just me jumping right in. I'm sorry about that. I'm hopeful that things are going okay. Looks that way. I got it recorded. I got the microphone on. I do have to fix one thing. Um, I don't know how that's going to work. Okay, here we go. One thing, right? Okay. Now I got that done. How are you this morning? Boy, yesterday there was so much to talk about, and I loved it. I loved it, but I didn't get too much into the heavy real estate stuff, and I need to do better with that. If those of you are watching from yesterday, watching today, you'll notice I'm wearing the same shirt, and it's because I like the shirt. Um, I'm going to change today, but I don't know. It felt comfortable. It felt right, and so that's what I did. If that makes me a bad person, so be it. Anyway, um, gosh, it's a weird world, right? Um, just let me go over yesterday for you since we've got time. Uh, I did the live stream. I had all kinds of plans for the day. Um, one was to go have lunch with my mother and my wife at a restaurant that they like. So we went there for lunch. Got home, and then my wife was not happy with my car. It was dirty. She she didn't like it, and it was dirty because we went to Blue Spring this weekend, and there was a 2 mile long road that was like it was dirt road. It was filled with snow and mud, and it was up and down hills and all kinds of stuff, and quite nerve wracking to drive on to get to this spring. But anyway, so it was full of mud and everything, and so we took it. We went to a new car wash where when we drove in, they said that the computers weren't working, and so they were down, and so we could use the vacuum sweeper. They get free vacuum and free mat cleaner, and I'll tell you what, the mat cleaner was amazing. I mean, it was like, wow, this is awesome. The vacuum, I thought the vacuum needed more suction. And then we got done with that, and the computer never turned back on, so we went to a different car wash. And I don't know about you, but my car, we went to the next one, and it was packed because it was like 80 degrees, and people were enjoying themselves and getting their cars washed. So I don't know about you guys, but my car is an odd shape. I guess it's a Subaru Outback, and so the back never gets washed, right? If I go to a car wash, so now my car looks gorgeous except for the back, which is looks like it just came from a river or a trail for a spring. After that, I said I want some ice cream. I said, oh boy. All right, so we went and got ice cream. Well, by that time it was like 5:30. I had some other calls. Just the day did not go well. It did not go well from the sense of like productivity. Okay, the things that I have to do today, and now I get to do everything I didn't do yesterday. So that's no good. But a lot of you out there are like, well, you're a real estate agent, and look, you got to spend your whole day with your wife, your family, and it was during the week, and it was not planned, and good for you. And you know what? Exactly, exactly. Um, I don't think it's going to be that way for a while here. I picked up so many buyers that my schedule is ridiculous. Tonight I'm going to show some houses. Tomorrow night I'm set to show houses. Saturday I'm set to show houses all day. I'm still going to do the live stream Saturday morning, but I don't know about anything else. I don't know about podcasts. And as far as podcasts, I didn't do that yesterday. I need to do one of those at least. It's going to be a day. It's going to be a day, and we're just going to have to deal with it. And one of the problems with being a relatively small brokerage, it's not that it's not that I can't hire someone. If I do hire someone, there's periods of like inaction, like where you're not showing houses, where you're not doing anything, like seasonally. Now we're picked up into this. Now it's the spring rush. It'll just be, I'll be busy all the whole time. So it's good and bad. But then this winter in February, you and I'll sit there and be able to talk all day. There's nothing going on. So I just wanted to ask you, you guys get tired? Last couple, I'd say weeks, I'm struggling to get past 9:30 at night without falling asleep. And the only thing I can say is I'm used to it. I just remembered I had to do something. I used to say, have some dinner, sit down, watch some TV, fall asleep, watch some, wake up relatively refreshed, and then go to bed maybe 11:30. But now I'm to the point where like 9 o'clock comes in, I'm watching some TV maybe, and I just fall asleep. Like I just have to go to bed, like fall asleep. I don't fall asleep in my chair. It's bad. I just wondered if you had that same experience. I don't know if I'm doing anything differently, but man. So like that live stream I want to do at night is not looking real positive so far. I did have one thing on the list. I don't know if I wrote it down. Oh yes. Just let me get a drink. Oh, that's better. Okay. You know me. I like to mess with things at the wrong times. And yesterday I saw a video about how to focus your camera better for my particular camera. So I saved it and I watched it, and then I didn't get a chance to do it. This morning before the live stream, like all I could think about is, hey, can I get that done today? Like I want to do it right now, like immediately, right before the live stream. Half hour before the live stream, I'm sitting there all excited about changing camera settings. Worst idea in the world. Worst idea in the world, because what happens if I miss it? Like we have no video one in the live stream. Things are important. Being on time for the live stream is important to me. I don't know why. I guess because I think that if somebody's watching, real time, they want to see it, and so the best I can do is just be there for them. The other thing, I like. How do I say this? I like to be on time because I like you to know that there's going to be somebody there for you. I mean, that's a fact. So that's what we do. But messing with camera settings right before a live stream is terrible. Like, it's just a bad idea. But you know how you get motivated to do something and then you're not? Like, I think there's about 10 things on my desk right now that I'm not motivated to do. I mean, it's just bad. And I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm going to do to get through it all. But I will, I guess. Anyway. So tomorrow morning we'll have a showing. We'll have a showing recap for the house that I go to tonight. Friday we have 2 showings. Saturday is just the whole day. Afternoon is just ridiculous. Sunday, nothing looking real positive for Sunday. Maybe we'll write some offers this weekend. What do you think of that? It'd be something exciting. Anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. Got a bunch of stuff to do, and if I think about it too much, I'm gonna get nervous. So I don't want to do it. And I didn't turn my phones over. You guys know the drama behind my wife's car. She's at we have it at the shop right now, and today is the day they're gonna work on it and tell us what's wrong with it. Many thousands of dollars, I suspect, but that's where that is. See, just thinking about stuff gets me nervous and takes me off track. Do we have a full show today? Yes. Should we get into it? Yes. Let's do that. I know it's starting early, 10 minutes in, but let's just get to it. Here we go. Fitbit. You know what Fitbit is? There was a recall. This was in Google search, Google Trends. Fitbit recalls iconic smartwatches due to burn hazard. 1 million sold in the United States. Okay, so 1 million smartwatches sold. There's a burn hazard. It says 1 million sold in the U.S., 693,000 sold internationally. It says the description. The recall only involves the Fitbit Ionic smartwatch. It was sold with a polyurethane band and has a 1.4-inch color LCD screen. The watches were sold in slate blue, burnt orange, charcoal, smoke gray, blue gray, silver gray, and a special edition co-branded with Adidas in ink blue, silver gray. The smartwatch tracks activity, heart rate, and sleep. Only the following models and colors are included in this recall. For the Ionic device, the model number FB503 is on the back of the device near where the band attaches. Fitbit is printed on the front of the Ionic smartwatch. The remedy. Consumers should immediately stop using the recalled Ionic smartwatches and contact Fitbit to receive prepaid packaging to return the device. Upon receipt of the device, consumers will be issued a refund of $299. Fitbit will also provide participating consumers with a discount code for 40% off select Fitbit devices. Okay, so it says Fitbit has, this is the part I was interested in. Fitbit has received 115 reports in the United States and 59 reports internationally of the battery in the watch overheating, with 78 reports of burn injuries in the United States, including 2 reports of third-degree burns and 4 reports of second-degree burns, and 40 reports of burn injuries internationally. So, I'm not excited about this setup here, but let's look at burn classification. Let's look at guide. I mean, I'm not excited about this. This is too dense for us. Okay, so they do the thing. That's 4th degree burns is the worst. 3rd degree is not as bad, but it's not good. And 2nd degree, superficial burn. I don't know. This is stupid. This isn't helping me. Someone just give me what I need. Okay, here we go. This is what I need. It took me 3 times. If 1st degree burn is the least severe, so nobody got that on the Fitbit. I'm going back here. Okay. They have 2 reports of 3rd degree and 4 reports of 2nd degree. So let's look at the 2nd degree burn. 2nd degree burn is classified as a burn that affects both the epidermis and the dermis, or the second layer of the skin. 2nd degree burns are characterized by intensified swelling, pain, and redness, and then 1st degree burns. Deep 2nd degree burns may lead to scarring, so that's not good. And then 3rd degree burns penetrate deeper than the dermis to the underlying layer of fat. A 3rd degree may appear waxy, stiff, or leathery with a tan or white color. In some cases, 3rd degree burns can cause nerve damage. So 2 3rd degree burns from your Fitbit? Yeah. But this is, look, out of 1.6 million manufactured, they're talking about maybe 200 that went south. It's not good. Manufactured in Taiwan. I don't know. What I think I'm most intrigued by this is, so this gets put out by the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and they put this recall out, and then all across the country the press picks it up and writes a story about it. But it's based off of this press release. And so it's kind of funny to watch like a local news channel say, well, watch your Fitbit, as it could be. And you may say, John, are you making fun of the word Fitbit? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm intentionally pronouncing it the way I do because it makes me laugh every time. But you know, I mean, how many articles could I write every day if I just took the press releases and just kind of wrote the same article just a little differently? It's not really like, to me, like, it doesn't seem like a lot of talent's involved. But I haven't done it, so I don't know. It's just kind of a window into the world of news. You ever watch? I mean, I haven't watched the local news in a long time, and I'm not going to start. You don't have to worry about that. I can't stand it. Um, but but there was a time when we actually listened to we watched the news, and like it would be important. Like there was, if there was like a hot dog recall or a Taco Bell recall, or not recall, but hey, like don't eat those tacos, and it's like, well, that's a little too late. I already ate them. I don't know. It's weird. Who's getting their news from the news? And you say, well, that's a problem. No, it's not. Those people are terrible. Corporate news is terrible. Don't get me going this early in the morning about that idea. Um, I never long to go back to the time where there were 3 newscasts, or even I was talking to my mom last night. The Biden State of the Union address. Now, is that an antiquated concept? The State of the Union address? Yes. Yes. Why? Because we know what's going on for the most part in the United States. We know what's going on in the world. We can see it. We don't need some guy to tell us. There was once a time when there were like 5 TV channels, and on an important event, they would get to broadcast on the networks, and so you'd have like the speech last night would take up every single channel. Well, maybe 2 nights ago. I'm sorry. And so you couldn't watch anything else on TV. So if you had a favorite show, remember we couldn't record very well, or even if we could record, when the show would get preempted by a speech, that would make you doubly angry because now you're stuck watching this stupid speech and you're missing your show. Is bad. And then I don't know if they still do, because again, I don't watch that much television. They used to break into your favorite show for snow and thunderstorm warnings. So the local news would come on and be like, we know you're watching. Now I'm going to date myself. We know you're watching Seinfeld. It's only a half hour long. We're going to be on the air the next 10 minutes telling you about a storm that's probably 200 miles away from you to the south, but it brings us ratings. So we're going to go ahead and preempt Seinfeld for this. And then they'd put on the screen, we know you're angry. Okay, we know you're angry, but we don't care. You can watch Seinfeld, this same broadcast, at 2:30 on Sunday morning, 2:30 a.m. Sunday morning. It'll be on. It's like, this was normal and acceptable in this day and age. I mean, it's just so weird how the world changes. And you just heard my story. If you're young, if you're in your 20s, you don't know any of this. Okay. And when you hear me say it, it sounds crazy. Well, how can that even be? How can there only be 5 TV channels? And how could they all show the same speech? Like, that's just crazy. That doesn't seem right. Well, that's how bad the world was then, and it's a better place now, but there's always these pockets of remembrance that are just bizarre for me. Let's go to the next article. I thought this was interesting. As you know, my stance on the war is like, I want nothing to do with it. Please stop. But the world's a dangerous place, right? Or do we really think it's not? Anyway, I wanted to go over this article because I find it interesting. Because I think there's a broader theme here, and we'll go over it. So it says, Taiwan's semiconductor ban could spell catastrophe for Russia. Russia is dependent on Taiwan's semiconductors for everything from the manufacture of laptops to military equipment. The cutting off of this supply may be disastrous for Russia. Now, maybe, but I mean, how many Like, I don't know. But how many Russians are building their own laptop computers? You know, how many Russians are building their own cell phones? How many Russians are doing any of these things? Like, it seems like you still, like, if you want to buy a television, I don't know that there's a Russian manufactured television. Like, manufacturing has kind of gone all to China. It's not a good thing, not in my opinion. But this is a fascinating thing because we're banning semiconductors for Russia. It says it could spell catastrophe. I don't understand. Let's get into it. So it says on the first day of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the share price of the world's biggest chip maker, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, dropped. Despite the global semiconductor index being up 3.5%, this sent a clear message that investors are concerned about relations between China and Taiwan in the wake of Russia's invasion. China feels like Taiwan is theirs. Taiwan says we're not part of your deal. And people in the West are like very shifty when it comes to, you know, Taiwan. Just after the day of the invasion, just after the invasion of Ukraine began, Taiwan announced it was joining the international sanctions against Russia. Okay, I don't know who started the international sanctions against Russia. I don't know, but it says to comply with this order, TSMC must halt the export of semiconductors to Russia. Taiwan holds a prominent position in the global production of both the advanced and lagging edge chips, according to Ajit Manuka, CEO of Silicon Valley-based Industry Association, SEMI. I don't know. Russia produces an insignificant number of semiconductors and is heavily reliant on imports, he adds. Now, I want to look at this two different ways. One, Taiwan is not a huge company, not a huge country. Okay, Taiwan is the leader in the global production of both advanced and lagging edge chips. Okay, I'm reading this in the article. I don't know if it's true or not. Okay, but they agreed with the sanctions. Okay, the international sanctions against Russia. The United States, and so a significant manufacturing, significant part of their economy, they're blocking to Russia. Okay, they are taking the hit, right? Because they're trying to be part of the international community. Are we doing the same thing with oil from Russia? Are we buying oil from Russia? Is that part of the sanctions? Are we taking the hit just like these other countries? We're asking other countries to do so. Are we taking the hit? Just one of those things. There's another thing. I'm gonna wait until we get a little further. Russia's reliance on in Taiwan for semiconductors says Russia is wholly dependent on Taiwan Semiconductor for the high-end semiconductors required for the manufacture of anything from laptops and smartphones to equipment for the country's military and security services. Do they build their own security services? Do they build their own military stuff? I don't know. It says Taiwan Semiconductor complies with all applicable laws and regulations and is fully committed to complying with the new export control rules, and said the company declined to comment further. The significance for the global semiconductor industry cannot be overstated. The company is the world's largest contract chip manufacturer and Asia's most valuable listed company. It's $600 billion. And that's my point. I mean, they're really got skin in the game on this one. The United States is saying we're going to sanction, playing cards with Russia, but not oil, as it would go up in the United States, and that would cause anger amongst the American people, some of them, and then we can't have that. So it's a very fascinating problem. It says, but almost all of Taiwan's semiconductor facilities are in Taiwan, and we'll get into that. Following the global shortage seen during the COVID crisis, the company announced it plans for more than $44 billion of capital investment in 2022. This includes global expansion of its semiconductor fabs, which is I don't know what a fab is, which is likely to see its market dominance cemented through foreign direct investment beyond Taiwanese soil. I mean, this is a cool chart, but I don't really understand. It says global installed semiconductor manufacturing capacity by location. And this was like the United States. This was Europe. I'm sorry. 44% in 1990. US had 37%. Japan had 19%. Now we go over here. Others somehow comes in at 6%. Europe has 8%. The United States has 10%. Japan 13%. South Korea 19%. Taiwan 21%. And mainland China 24%. Russia's dependence on Taiwan for chips was already a problem. A global shortage of semiconductors meant Russia was already struggling for supplies. As Taiwan Semiconductor's business boomed and shifted very much to leading-edge contract work, most notably for Apple, the small Russian market simply couldn't compete for capacity. So here's the semiconductor exports to Russia from Taiwan, which I think that's pretty cool. Like, I didn't think we would have such a graph, but here we go. So 2016, 2017, 2018, $33 million. 2021 is $23 million. So they're saying we're cutting it. Get none of these from us. From 2018, Russia suffered from not being a top tier 8 client for Taiwan Semiconductor. Since then, the high margin business has exploded, with Apple and a handful of other clients commandeering Taiwan Semiconductor's capacity and leaving the rest increasingly crowded out. Taiwan Semiconductor remains the best global foundry option despite Russia trying to plug its shortfall in semiconductor supply with other options such as China, SMIC, and U.S. company Global Foundries. Like everyone else, Russia had to ease its reliance on TSMC. So I think a better article now for the people in the United States, us, is U.S. company Global Foundries, are they being affected by the ban, or are we just going to let them do that and not Taiwan Semiconductor? Doesn't seem fair. I'm just asking. I don't know the answer to the question, and I'm not going to Google it. So, is Russia out of semiconductor options? Samsung, Russia's only real alternative to Taiwan Semi for high-end contract manufacturing services, now comes under South Korea's semiconductor export embargo on Russia. Russia is cut off from modern semiconductors as it has no advanced semiconductor industry of its own and has relied on Taiwan Semiconductor entirely to make its leading-edge chips. Taiwan Semi, along with Samsung, has a monopoly on 5-nanometer chips, the most widespread small chip in circulation, used by companies including Apple, Qualcomm, and Hawaii. It says Russia can still import low-end chips from China, but it's the high-end chips that are critical. So here's the other thing. So now you've got China is said they're not going to do anything. It's okay for Russia to do what it did, and they are happy to work closer with the Russian government to kind of cement their partnership, their working relationship. Seems bad. This whole situation is terrible. High-end chips are, one possible repercussion of this new iteration of chip wars may be a battleground of manufacturing materials. There you go. It says Ukraine is the world's main supplier of neon gas and Russia is a key supplier of palladium, both of which are used in chip making. Russia could retaliate against sanctions by cutting off supplies of the neon gas required for the lasers used in lithographic chip making equipment, notably to Dutch semiconductor company ASML. Ukraine controls about 70% of the global market. Neon gas has been in widespread use for more than 10 years, used in chip plants all over the world, and global data analyst Anisha Bhatia believes global supplies could be ramped up to cover the shortfall. Whatever the outcome, a tight supply of these raw materials could potentially lead to a rise in semiconductor prices. Now, they're already terrible because we have a shortage. The situation is still evolving and the extent of the halted sales isn't fully clear. It says, without an uninterrupted supply of high-end semiconductors, it will be extremely difficult for Russian enterprises, telecommunication companies, and cloud providers to maintain and develop their technology infrastructures going forward. Just in terms of banks, for example, it's going to be difficult for any kind of data center operation to keep going, and the effects will be felt as the sanctions regime continues. The effect on Russia's consumer market will be apparent almost immediately. There's going to be a real lack of any type of electronics requiring more sophisticated chips inside. This includes laptops, phones, and other consumer items. I'm very skeptical about the future of the Russian tech industry if this sanctions regime holds for, let's say, 6 months, a year, or even 2 years. Yeah, is this really going to last for? Are we really going to sanction Russia, the whole world, for the next 2 years? Are we really going to say, oh, we're not going to take your money? As the situation unfolds, the effects of Taiwan's ban on semiconductors to Russia will become apparent. What is clear that by standing alone, albeit with China as an ally, the country risks a catastrophic technology crisis it can ill afford in this digital age. I don't know if that's true. So here's a couple of things that I wanted to go over in the article. One, I think that producing things in the United States as much as it's possible is a security issue. I was never for the globalization of the economy. I always thought that was really all that was is, taking Americans and their jobs and shipping them to some other place that may not be as friendly as the United States is to itself. That's, to me, is shown to be true. But I also understand that, China, Russia, these companies or these countries, they understand that there's raw materials needed for these to produce any of these products. And so China, for one, has gone and they go and buy raw materials all over the place. I mean, they're ready to go. I mean, they're fine because, well, first of all, they don't really have big oil reserves, so they've had to think outside the box. So can the United States respond? Well, here's one of the ways the United States should have responded 20 years ago, and that is the production of nuclear energy. There's no reason why we need to be energy dependent on some other country on the side of manufacturing, on the side of electricity. We should have more electricity than we ever need, and we don't. And why is that? Well, that's the environmental concerns of nuclear. But if we don't ever continue to move forward with the nuclear research and development and production, we're never going to get anywhere. It's the only one. It's not going to be solar. It's not going to be windmills. It's literally nuclear power, and a lot of it. That's the way, and that's the greenest thing you could possibly do. So all the people that are, they disagree with me on that one, go for it. But in this case, now if we had energy independence, could we tell Russia to go away with their oil? Yeah. Look at how amazing what the United States was doing when we were producing our own oil and actually exporting it. I mean, you didn't hear this. You didn't hear about anybody messing with us. The Saudis didn't mess with us. Nobody messed with us. And within what, 2 short years, 2 or 3 years, we've lost that. Ask yourself why. Okay. I do think there's a problem with this, with these chips. I think that we need to figure out something. I think the United States needs to come up with some sort of like manufacturing, like sort of bill or something that says like, hey, we need to produce certain things in the United States somehow. Like, because of it, like if right now people in Russia don't have Apple Pay and they don't have Google Pay, so they can't get through the subways. That's the picture that was sent. I don't know if it's true. I don't know anything, but the tech oligarchs can shut things off like that. We saw now banking in Canada. If you think wrongly, you have your bank, it'll suspend your bank account. So those aren't safe. So we need to be able to start having these discussions about what is truly American. What are we gonna, if someone has wrong think in the United States, what are we gonna do about it? What is wrong think? Well, that's when you don't agree with the powers that be on anything. That's wrong think. You're not allowed anymore. But on this manufacturing stuff, are we going to just, we were the ones that designed the chips and we put the manufacturing someplace else. Are we going to just keep that up? We're going to try and find less likely places. I mean, what happens? What happens when China takes Taiwan? Then we lose all the global semiconductor manufacturing capacity. to China. Not good. Not good. Maybe some people need to be thinking about that and trying to come up with a solution. I'm sure there's no perfect solution. Wow. I just had someone spam the website from the Bahamas. It's funny. It's funny. They put in a comment that said that I have an article, when to transfer utilities when buying a home, and I'll read it. It's funny. We are a private hire car care company specializing in passenger transfers to and from Bahamas airports, ports, Bahamas train stations, and Bahamas places. And they put their little link. That's cute. And it's not ever gonna make it on the website. I feel bad for them. They're trying to get backlinks. All right. Anyway, so this is a problem. This is a problem. Let's get into the real estate stuff now, right? That's why you're all here. You know where Chula Vista is? I don't. It's in California. Let's look it up. Now, is it going to come up? No, because remember how we had that weird thing where like it takes forever because we're on it. I mean, I need a graphics card. I need a chip. Here we go. Chula Vista looks nice. Look, it's right by the water. Let's zoom out a little bit. Is that a bay there? Oh, it's south. It's south. There's Tijuana, Mexico, and then there's Chula Vista right here, and then it's before San Diego. Okay. All right. So here's the houses. This one's for sale. This one's not. I don't know that it exists. I mean, they're getting so good with the pictures, okay, that like you can't tell for certain if something's real or not until you like look a little bit closer. That doesn't look real. Let's see. Don't make fun of me. Yeah, there's only two. Oh no, there's 68 pictures. Okay, let's see the details. Built in 2008, it says majestic property and the gates awaits you. This trophy home with almost 9,000 square feet of luxury, including an amazing floor plan with vaulted ceilings, an indoor courtyard, a large living space, and much more. The kitchen is a chef's delight with ample countertop space, Viking professional grade appliances, Mel coffee maker, don't even know what that is, wine dispenser, and a veggie sink. I mean, I'm in. The perfect property to entertain, offering a separate bar room, a wine cellar, a gorgeous pool, outdoor kitchen. Outdoor, you could put that as one word. Fire pit, and the list goes on. Find your private retreat in this very large master suite that offers a master study. His and hers was... I don't know what that is. W/C. You chat, you tell me. I haven't even looked at the chat lately. Oh, there's nobody there. All right. A spa-like bathroom equipped with a rain shower, body sprayers, a steam room, a jetted tub with a view, and a very large walk-in closet. Over 50 solar panels to supply energy to the property, and the Tesla home charging station. Schedule your private tour. Let's see the property history. Listed what? 9 is August for 4.5 million. What are we at now? 4.5 million. Nothing's changed. 68 pictures is a bit much for me, but let's take a look. Okay, that's the pool. Looks nice. This picture here is when I was like, hey, maybe it is a real house. The first picture looks fake. I mean, that looks fake to me. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I want to make sure that you were transitioned over to the screen with me. All right. We got, that's interesting. I mean, it kind of hurts the curb appeal with all this foliage right there. There's a little waterfall. Oh, look at that. See, that's nice. 4.5 million for this. 4-car garage. I like that. I mean, look at that. Isn't that interesting? Very modern, right? Very, very modern. Look at those floors. Wow. Wow. Shiny. I mean, that sectional is huge. It's as big as my house. And there's the kitchen. We haven't seen a picture of that yet. There we go. There's the kitchen. Look at these. Look at that. I mean, that is a refrigerator. That's impressive. Kind of, I don't know. Is that the veggie sink? I don't know. I don't know if it is because I don't know what one is. A little bit of wine area there. There's a little bar. I think that's the bathroom. Look at that chair. Look at that. So definitely a modern look to it. They got a little pool house. Nice. We're going to see that. That's weird looking. I mean, I'm not weird in a negative, but there's your bed. It's coming out this way. I guess that's the frame around it, and then there's a chair. That's a better look to it. So there's your frame, and there's the chair. $4.5 million, 6 bedrooms, 7.5 baths. It's a very interesting house. That's why I keep. There's your little outdoor space. It's really neat. Something different, you know, for me here in the Midwest. Okay, well that was that one. That was number one. Here's the second one. This is only $2.2 million. Let's take a look at it. 49 pictures, 5 beds, 4.5 baths, 3,500 square feet, 3-car garage, built in 2013. They're yelling at me with all caps. Sold in 2022. 2/10/2022. Sold 1.9 million. Now it's back on the market for 2.29 million. It's a fix and flip, I guess. Or they just didn't like it. Let's take a look. Look at that. That is a view. I mean, it's really something. Isn't this funny, though? We saw that it was sold. And almost $1 million more. So far, I mean, I'm not seeing. I mean, I keep seeing the same. I keep seeing the same shares. I mean, it's like, okay. I mean, the question is, why do you buy a house and sell it the same year? 210. It's 3.3. Is it just stuck on there? Did they forget to take it off? What I've noticed about California in general is the house prices are high, but they're like all high. So say you're in St. Louis and there's a $300,000 house. That one's going to be about an $800,000 house in California, and there's going to be like a lot of them. It's just like more expensive. There's really, I mean, that's just what I've noticed. I mean, look at the distribution of homes within like a million and $1.2 million. You know, there's like 7 or 8. I don't know. That it's just. Feel free to make fun of me if you're watching this like 6 years from now. I mean, that's just what I see now. 1.8 million. I don't know. I'm not interested. I'm done. I'm kind of done with looking at houses today. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not feeling it. Let's get into the articles. Let me first check one article just to see if they did it to me again. No, not so far. Let's do 2 articles today, and then we'll wrap it up. So I picked this article because I thought it was interesting, and I really feel like there's something here. Now, so I don't like the headline because I was raised when you say if someone was black, it was African American. I don't know if we've gone back to the word black is the right word. I don't know. So it says, editorial note, it says, the content of this article is based on the author's opinions and recommendations alone. It may not have been reviewed, commissioned, or otherwise endorsed by any of our network partners. So I don't know if, I don't know what's going on with this article. I don't know if they're disavowing it because it says the Lending Tree survey. It's on Lending Tree's site. So the content of the article is the author's opinions and not Lending Tree's. I don't know, but the headline 32%, and I'm just going to go with what they used, okay? Because that's what the article is written. I don't know how else to do it. 32% of black homeowners believe their home's value is unfairly appraised. Okay. It says black families face challenges to achieving home ownership, even in areas with large black populations, according to 2021 Lending Tree study. Okay. Those fortunate enough to overcome financial hurdles to become homeowners may face a different obstacle: appraisal discrimination. The newest Lending Tree survey finds that more than 1 in 5 Americans who've had to get a home appraisal, typically to refinance or sell a home, believe that the value was too low at least once in their lifetime. And 21% of these current or past homeowners suspect the subpar value was based in part on their race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion. So not a majority, and 21%, and it's not just based on black Americans, it's based on race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion. So it's kind of funky. It says Lending Tree surveyed 2,100 consumers, including more than 900 who've commissioned a home appraisal. Researchers ask about their appraisal experiences to learn what steps they took and what steps they need to be taken to overcome concerns about home appraisal discrimination. So of the 2,100 consumers, it seems like only 900 or so are the ones that have even been involved in the appraisal process at all. It says key findings. 23% of homeowners think a home appraiser has lowballed them, and black and LGBTQ plus homeowners are most likely to believe their home's value was unfairly appraised. Of those who've had a home appraisal, 32% and 31% of, the other thing is this is just bizarre. But anyway, believe they were lowballed, compared with 22% of white and heterosexual homeowners. So they go black and LGBTQ. They're making equivalents out of different groups, and it's pretty gross for everyone. But let's see this. 23% think a home appraiser has lowballed them. Okay, so is that a bad thing? Here's where it's a bad thing. Let's say you want to, let's say my house at one point in time was worth 180, and now it's worth 300. Okay, let's say that I want to fix my bathroom. It's going to cost me $10,000. I don't really care, because my house is worth so much more than when I bought it. I have equity in the home. Now, compare that with this situation. Let's say I bought a home for $200,000. It's now worth $150,000. Do I want to put in a new bathroom? No. Why? I'm already under $50,000. This is the problem with the appraisals. If this is in fact a problem, like if it's real, I don't know if it's real or not, but I'm just saying that is why it's such a bad deal, because you're gonna depress home value somewhere, and those people aren't going to be able to take pride in their home ownership or take a chance to, or want to take a chance to improve their home, because there's no equity in it. It says nearly 3/4 of those who disagreed with their home's appraised value got a second opinion or submitted a reconsideration of value, say the new value was closer to their expectations. Still, more than 1 in 10 Americans don't know that you can dispute a home appraiser's opinion if you disagree with the appraised value. Yeah, this is a slippery slope to me, because what are we doing here? Are we shopping for the highest appraisal? I mean, is that it? So let's say my house, I think it's worth $100,000, and I get back an appraisal that says it's worth $99,500. Well, I don't like that. I want it to be more. So I go and I yell, and I get the appraisal to be $105,000, and now I've somehow won. I don't know. Like, even when I list houses for sale, it's usually within a range. I mean, we'll put an asking price on it, but we won't assume that it'll sell for that. Or, I mean, it's just kind of bizarre. No one's going to get the right price every time, all the time. It's not possible. Despite anti-discrimination laws, 58% of black homeowners who have had appraisal believe their race, sexual orientation, or other protected demographic was factored in the appraisal. That's compared to just 14% of white consumers and 20% overall. Similar themes are echoed in the LGBTQ community at 36%, compared with 20% of straight Americans. I mean, if you've been, let's use the word marginalized group. If you've been a marginalized group in the United States, are you more likely to believe that you continue to be more marginalized? Is there something to that? I don't know. I said it. Hope that didn't get me in trouble. In this particular case, I mean, if you feel like you've been denied a mortgage, okay, do you also feel then, are you more likely to feel that you've been appraised at a lower value? Your home appraised at a lower value? I don't know. 1 in 4 black homeowners who've ordered a home appraisal worked to conceal their race or other protected demographic from the appraiser. Just 11% of white homeowners have done the same. You know, the other thing to me is on the appraisals. I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, did the appraisal actually go? Did they actually go in the house? You know, we had to get a refinance one time when I was a kid, and the appraiser walked through the house and he's like, "There's a crack up there." We're like, "Yeah, it's for shifting. It happens in all these houses." He's like, "Okay." So he marked it down based on the crack, but I think that was reasonable because, again, it was there. I don't know. 43% think home appraisal discrimination laws need to be strengthened. This jumps to 61% amongst black consumers compared with 39% of white response. Look, I no longer think that more laws mean safer situations. I really don't. I think we have plenty of laws on the books, and I think that if people are going to commit crimes, then they do, and it has nothing to do with. It's not like, oh well, since you strengthened this law, now I'm not going to commit the crime that I was going to commit just 2 days earlier. That criminals don't think that way. I think it's silly, and I think that it's in some ways virtue signaling to with the crime bills. Like a lot. Like, why don't we just enforce the crime bills we have right now? I don't know. That's just me. Maybe. Nearly 1 in 4 believe they've had an appraised value that was too low. Well, you know what? People think that all the time. It doesn't matter who you are. See, 1/4 of Americans, 32% of black and 31% of LGBTQs. Now, you know, why don't we break this down even anymore? Are Asians not allowed to be in this survey? Are Spanish-speaking people not allowed to be in this survey? Latinos? I mean, that's where I get to have a real problem with this, is it starts getting a little bit strange. We're only going to talk about 2 groups and not all the other groups. Let's talk about every group. Other groups that report feeling the same, that the value was too low at higher levels than the national percentage, include Northeast residents. So people just generally in the Northeast think that way. People in the West think that way. Those with a household income of less than $35,000 annually think that way. Millennials think that way, and women think that way. As for, I mean, this gets so random. As far as how much Americans say they were lowballed, the values vary across the board. That being said, the majority cites less than 40,000. Well, I mean, you're gonna look. I mean, anybody can figure. Look, if you have a $200,000 house and they miss it by 10,000, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Normally, when I do pricing of a home, if we have to lower the price, the list price, we do it in $10,000 increments. You know, that's a big deal. But if we're at like $1 million house, all of a sudden 10,000 is nothing. So that's ridiculous. A homeowner's perception of their home value may vary based on how much similar homes have sold for and how much they spent on their home. If you're a homeowner who put a lot of money in improving your home and you get an appraisal back that isn't much higher than what you paid, or if the house down the street sold for tens of thousands of dollars more than appraisal thinks your home was worth, then it might seem reasonable to assume your home is being undervalued. But let's talk about that. Okay? I've seen people over-improve homes in a neighborhood, okay, and they don't get the money out of it. Why did they do that? Well, they just for some reason thought it was a good idea and that they were going to get the money out of it. Number two, in a fast rising market, like I had a house that didn't appraise but still went $40,000 over asking. Okay, so now is that going to continue? Like in 2023, we're going to see the same type of buying process? I don't know, but but if the house didn't appraise, so did I think that it was on purpose, like structurally done? No. I mean, there has to be some basis for which these people make their appraisals, and the guy's like, hey, how am I going to do this? There's nothing that sold for this in this neighborhood. I don't know. I thought he was wrong, but hey. It says respondents who proactively fought a low value and got a second opinion say they were more likely to get a new value closer to what they expected than one that was lower, 39 versus 15%. Nearly half of Americans who thought their value was too low didn't seek a second opinion. Well, I mean, what's the point? It'll be higher? Okay. Consumers know their rights regarding disputing appraisals. In fact, 89% of those surveys say they know they can challenge an appraised value. Homeowners shouldn't hesitate to discuss an appraiser's decision, even if they think the home's worth more than they do. Everyone always believes their house is worth more. That's just the way it is. You bought it. You've got a bias. Many black homeowners feel race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion have factored into the appraisal process. Well, that, again, it's always black and LGBTQ, but we're not talking about Asians and we're not talking about Latinos. So what is going on here? What is going on about this survey? It says, so have homeowners worked to hide their race or other protected demographic from the appraiser as a result? More than 1 in 10 homeowners who have had a home say yes. That percentage doubles to 25% amongst black Americans. Interestingly, 34% of Gen Zs aged 18 to 25 say they've attempted to hide one of these demographics from their appraisal. Who's buying a house at age 18? 22% of millennials think this way, 9% of Gen X, and 3% of baby boomers. And what are we talking about? To hide their race or other protected demographic from the appraiser as a result? There's virtually no difference in responses from people in different income brackets. Well, that's weird. More than 60% of black consumers believe more should be done about appraisal discrimination. I don't understand. Why do they keep doing this? More than 60% of black consumers, and then they follow it up with LGBTQ. Stop. Just do it all. Home appraisal discrimination laws need to be strengthened. Again, it's an opinion. 53% of Hispanic, 46% of Asian, and 39% of white consumers agree. Well, is that just do people just assume that they need stronger laws? I mean, in general? Of those who identify as LGBTQ, more than half believe current laws aren't adequate. Do you think anti-discrimination laws for homeowners? Sure. Most appraisals part of refinance application. I agree with that. Yeah, it's most important for, and you know what I've noticed, which is weird because it's totally against what this article is I've noticed that when you do a refinance, they tend to be higher than if I come in and do an appraisal as a real estate broker listing your house. Why is that? Because banks want to loan you money. So it's really weird. So if you get an appraisal and it's really high, it's so you can take out more money. And then when you go to sell it, and you go, well, I think my house should be worth this. And I say, well, I don't think it's that high based on the comparable sales. And they're like, well, what happened? Well, you got a higher appraisal because you're refinancing. The risk to their money versus a new home purchase is less. In theory. I don't know if it's true. So that was that. I don't want people to be discriminated against. Okay? I don't want it. Any group. I'm sad that it happens, if it happens. Or when it happens, even. Like you can do whatever you want with it. But that should be the focus to me. The focus should be on, how do we solve this issue? Not like, and if you think that more criminality adding to it, or more tech might even do it, I don't think you're on the same path as I am. I don't know. Want to look at this next article here? I do. Let's be last article. Let's take a look here. It says how to build trust with your affluent clients. Good Lord. I think it should be how to build trust with all of your clients. But let's see if it changes. Like, so you shouldn't try to build trust with poor clients? It says, here's some of the things you should do. Be personable and easy to work with. Have a reputation of honesty and integrity. That's going to be hard if you're a luxury broker, because those people are just slimy. Add value that others don't, and make homeowners comfortable with mutual decisions. Okay. Many real estate professionals eliminate their chances of the best listings by overlooking key elements of these traits. Become a luxury real estate professional. Your reputation and professional profile can make all the difference as you navigate the competitive market of luxury real estate. You need to be using all the tools at your disposal to build a reliable product. That's one of the arguments that I've said is, are you selling a service or are you selling a product? You're trying, in this case, you're building a product that clients and other professionals have no problem referring or trust. Your listing should include real estate certifications, your credentials, links to websites, social profiles, and other professional photos, broad market experience, local and luxury market experience if applicable. These components are not mandatory, nor is it wrong to include other information. It is important to present compelling reasons for prospective clients to invest their time, energy, and money into you for representation. This means you must differentiate yourself from competitors. I agree. Use every advantage you possibly have. Come up with ones you don't. I mean, like others don't. I don't mean fake stuff. Don't be afraid to include client testimonials, showcase large sales, and describe what will set you apart up front. For some people, the details of first-class luxury real estate services may be lost on them unless they are highlighted. I mean, this is a good article, okay? The structure of the article to me is very good. It says the human element of real estate. Clients often trust real estate professionals for the human element just as much as their qualifications. Being easy to work with, for example, is a skill that you should prioritize and exercise as much as you can for winning over long-term clients. Some key elements to remember when building client trust include: be empathetic, keep your word, availability is the best ability, be agreeable. It's interesting. So be empathetic. Listing or buying a house can be a huge milestone and stressful for the homeowner or buyer. Talk with them about how they feel and what you can do to help listing their house. It says keep your word. Even when dealing with high-end real estate, you don't need to sell promises you can't keep. Under promise and over deliver is a great way to protect yourself from failure. That's what I try to do. Availability is the best. Your clients are likely to have all sorts of questions during the listing process. Being available, open, and communicative are traits that will help build trust quickly. And be agreeable. If there are two equally qualified and accomplished real estate professionals, and one of them has a reputation for being cheerful and easy to work with while the other is difficult, customer preference is straightforward. Even if clients are presenting you with difficult circumstances or you need to set boundaries, do it in a manner that is professional and courteous. I agree with that. Ultimately, a big part of your job as a luxury real estate professional is human relations mixed with marketing. And that's true with all of real estate. The best in the business are willing to constantly work at honing their skills to better serve their clients. And then it says provide resource for additional value. The luxury real estate market has many moving parts. There are typically connections that need to be made throughout the purchasing process. A great way to build your reputation as a go-to real estate professional is to provide connections for necessities such as moving and cleaning services, property management professionals, reputable home repair services, and trustworthy mortgage or financial professionals. If you can build a comprehensive suite of resources that smoothly transitions clients through the listing and selling process of their home, you'll quickly gain a valuable reputation. From there, the referrals will grow, and you'll have even more opportunities for successfully expanding your client base and sphere of influence. I don't know if I believe all that. I don't believe I should take the microphone away when I'm trying to talk. I think that's pretty dumb. I wanted to do that. I don't know why I took the microphone instead. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Is it all BS? My thing is you should try to provide a high quality experience for all of your clients. The lowest of the low and the highest of the high. Just do that, and you should have success. Now, our referrals, do they just flow like water? No, because a lot of times, if you're a good agent, If people have only been around you, they don't realize how terrible other agents can be. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I mean, you may do a wonderful job for somebody, but they didn't know that you could do a horrible job. So anyway, that's kind of what I have today. I'm busy. I've got a bunch of stuff to do. Wish me luck getting it all done. Thank you for watching. I know you'll probably be checking later today. Come in on the chat sometime. Let's have some fun.